Good afternoon and welcome to the U.S. Lacrosse Fall Classic here at Tierney Field at the U.S. Lacrosse headquarters in Sparks, Maryland. Getting ready for game number 2 of Towson versus Team USA. But first, you're looking at the Creators Game statue, honoring the sport's Native American roots, certainly on display here as we get ready for the second game of this Fall Classic. Yesterday, the national champions, Maryland, were on this field taking on Team USA. Today, national semifinalists, Towson, on the field, taking on Team USA. I'm Dave McHugh alongside Matt DeSilva from U.S. Lacrosse. And Matt, this is a great test not only for Team USA, also for Maryland, and certainly for Towson.
Certainly, you couldn't ask for any better competition than what the U.S. got last night from the Terrapins. 10-9 game, a little too close for comfort. For today's players, opportunity knocks. And for Towson, obviously coming in, having lost a lot of players from a team that got to the semifinals last year, they're going to be looking for some things in this game. It's great that it's fall. What are the keys for today's game for Towson against Team USA? A team just utterly gutted by graduation. I mean, they lost Ryan Drenner and Joe Sider on attack, that terrific rope unit with Tyler Mays and Jack Adams. So look for guys to step up today and really make their claim to those spots. Goalie play, Matt Hoy became the hot hand last year, so who's going to step in now for the Tigers after he graduated? And today they just need to focus on themselves. Obviously, a lot of star power on the opposite side with Team USA, but with all of these vacancies to fill, it's their time to shine.
And players to watch, we might be watching one of the best midfielders in the game in this for Towson, and on the other side, one pretty good face-off guy as well. But let's start with Goodrich. He's fun to watch.
He certainly is. He's one of the best pure athletes in the game today. Short stick defensive midfielder, also scored 7 goals last year. Says a lot about what the state of Towson's offense, that he's the number 2 scorer returning, but he can do it all.
And then on the face-off X, you have Alex Woodall coming in. He's going to have a bit of a challenge today, not only because it's different rules, but at the same time, he's going up against some of the best.
Yeah, and Woodall, he's just a beast. He's a large human being who can really bring it at the X. And I'm interested to see if he goes up against Trevor Baptiste today. They've had some good battles in the collegiate ranks with Trevor playing at Denver. So let's see what he can bring to the game. For Team USA, this is obviously a bit of a younger squad team trying to prove themselves to get onto the Team USA roster for the World Championships. What do they need to get accomplished today against Towson? Well, I mentioned that opportunity knocks, and the way you're going to take advantage of that opportunity is to showcase your versatility. You can only take 23 players if the U.S. over to Israel, so you can play attack, midfield. If you can go over the line, play some defense, that's going to help you out. That offense did not look great last night. Let's see how they do with their spacing today in that trademark motion offense that Coach Janowski likes to run. And then this is a team-building opportunity. USA doesn't get together often. It's time to build chemistry.
Players to watch on this younger squad, let's call it. We'll start with Ryan Brown.
He was lights out in the blue-white scrimmage in September, scored 4 goals. One of the best pure stretch shooters in the game, and really look for him to continue that today, bringing that element to the U.S. game.
And if you were watching Maryland's game yesterday, you said watch Connor Kelly for Maryland. Today we're saying watch Connor Kelly for Team USA.
Yeah, he might have been one of the best players on the field last night overall, and today he gets to suit up for the red, white, and blue. We saw last night what he can do, getting his hands free and shooting for a high percentage out of the midfield.
This is a chance for Team USA to get ready for the World Championship next year. We were kind of curious what it meant to the players to be on this squad or try and fight to be on Team USA. We asked them, and here's what they had to say.
It means everything. Every time I think about what it was like wearing USA and listen to the national anthem at those games, it's just takes my breath away a little bit.
There's no blueprint to this process, but I really enjoy just that, the process of playing with Team USA and creating a new team and playing with new coaches and competing for a gold medal. This opportunity ahead of us is the next chance, and hopefully you take lessons from 2010 and 2014 and make a good 2018.
Just the thought of having USA across your chest and representing your country, I think would be a dream come true.
U.S. Lacrosse Fall Classic brought to you by Nike. The U.S. men's national team trains and plays using best-in-class products. Thanks to Nike for supplying Team USA's apparel and footwear for today's Fall Classic. To shop official Team USA apparel, visit shop.uslacrosse.org. Nike, the official apparel and footwear supplier of Team USA. Welcome back here to the booth. I am Dave McHugh alongside Matt DeSilva. We got a chance to talk to the coaches before today's game. Our third broadcast partner, Bob Towson, joins us, and he talked to Towson first about what they expect from today's game.
Coach, a lot going into today. From the outsider looking in, it's an opportunity to get better. But logistically, in your mind, what's today?
I want to see how our guys compete, step on the field, get out there. We have a lot of new faces on our team, especially on the offensive end. I want to see how our guys execute what we've done so far. We've really had just one full week of team practice. We've had 3 weeks of a lot of skill and fundamental stuff, so we need to step on the field, be ready to execute those things, and get out on there and compete.
What do you think the Ireland trip did for you just a little bit after the Final Four?
I think it was great for the guys to just be able to kind of get away from, the U.S. world a little bit and get away from the lacrosse world and have fun with each other, kind of celebrate the season that we had, although it ended before we wanted it to. It was a little cathartic in that regard to be able to get away that quickly after the Final Four and have some fun.
What are you expecting from the USA team today?
I'm sure those guys will come out tuned up. I know they had a really tight one with Maryland last night. I know those guys are looking to compete to earn a spot on the 23-man roster, so we're expecting their best, and I hope we can give them our best.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time. Enjoyed today's competition.
Great. Thanks, Bob.
All right, Dave, back to you.
Thanks, Bob. And obviously that's Towson's point of view. What about Team USA? John Danowski's going to be looking at a different squad today. We had Bob Tross at work a little bit harder. He talked to Coach John Danowski.
Hey, everybody. Coach, today an opportunity to obviously get ready for next summer in Israel. What's the mindset going in?
Well, U.S. Lacrosse has been really supportive of our vision, from the first day, and we wanted to create a standing roster, of 46 men, who could be part of the program and part of the team. And so we had an opportunity to have 23 guys run yesterday, and we'll have 23 guys run today in a full game experience, and we were just excited to watch them play.
How about the facility here? Here we are in Hunt Valley, Maryland. It's a brand new facility. The guys like that?
Really do. I think from the first day, from day one, they feel like they're professionals. They've been treated great. We've got a meeting room upstairs. We've got a locker room. There's training facilities. There's strength training facilities. A beautiful field. Great environment. To work.
And one.
Thanks, Bob, for the hard work. We are getting ready for today's game. Got a little bit more to do when we come up. We'll give you an idea of how these two teams are shaping up. But first, the game of lacrosse continues to be one of the fastest growing in the nation, but it's still growing from the grassroots. Here's more about that.
Why do we do what we do?
Well, we believe that participation in lacrosse positively influences lives.
We believe lacrosse should be open to all kids that want to play.
We believe in a future that offers everyone the opportunity to participate.
U.S. Lacrosse is a nonprofit organization that provides resources to fuel the sport's growth and development.
Support our efforts at uslacrosse.org.
U.S. Lacrosse Fall Classic brought to you by Warrior and SDX, the official U.S. men's national team trains and plays using best-in-class products. Thanks to Warrior and SDX for supplying Team USA's equipment for today's Fall Classic. Warrior and SDX are official equipment suppliers of Team USA. I'm Dave McHugh. Welcome back to the booth. Matt DeSilva joining me once again. And Matt, this might be Towson versus Team USA, but it started with Maryland versus Team USA yesterday. And as you said earlier, this was a close game. Tell us a little bit more about how this one came down to the end.
It was indeed, and you talked to U.S. coach John Danowski. He says it's good that they faced a little adversity in this game. Maryland came out with everything they had. This wasn't just a fall exhibition. They threw out Jared Bernhardt, Connor Kelly, Tim Rotans, and they were firing on all cylinders. U.S. defense caught ball watching on a few occasions, and really Maryland was able to pull within and tie it at 9 at one point in the fourth quarter. The U.S. just pulls it off at the end. Here you get a look at the backup goalie, Cameron Brosh, for the Terps, and he actually stepped in the fourth quarter, but it's Drew Snyder with the game winner. U.S. prevails 10-9.
If you're Team USA, we talked to Coach Danowski. He said that wasn't bad. Maybe everybody else thinks it was. He kind of liked the test.
Yeah, certainly. If you go back to 2010, the last U.S. team to win the gold medal, they actually lost to Duke in the January of that year. So it's good to learn a little bit about yourself in that way.
If you're Team USA and you're those younger guys who watched that game yesterday, what do you want to expect from your expectations today? Do they need to step up maybe more and maybe that overcommit them?
Yeah, I would expect them to play with a little bit more edge today, a little bit more something to prove.
Let's talk about the international rules. If anybody's watching this and maybe used to the college game, maybe MLL, we got completely different rules, and it starts with the timing, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're talking about 20-minute running quarters, no stoppages there. The pace of play is such. As we step aside for the anthem for a minute, we'll pick up on the international rules afterward.
Yeah, we'll get to those international rules. Here's the national anthem. Once again, talking about the international rules as we get a look at everybody here at Sparks, Maryland. 20-minute quarters, the clock's running, overtime if we need it, but some of those other details we get on there are a little bit different than the college game than many may anticipate.
A lot has been done in recent years to inject tempo into the college game and also to clean up the face-off. That's been the predominant focus of the Rules Committee over the years. None of those changes have been implemented at the international level, so we're kind of going back in time a little bit today. So see a lot of stalling tactics, see some movement on the face-offs before the whistle. Should be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, no shot clock. You're going to see, there's really no clear clock, essentially. There may be a stall warning if they feel like throwing it. A little bit of a slowdown game. And we talked to Coach Danowski. He needs his guys to get used to that factor, and even the college guys a little bit, but really his team.
Yeah, these guys who are playing at the professional level, specifically in Major League Lacrosse, they got that clock ticking in their head, that 60-second shot clock, and they're used to playing possessions at that pace. Not the case internationally.
And of course, we should point out Towson is not unfamiliar with international competition. 2014, playing the team out of Japan. Of course, in 2015, Team Israel yet again, along with Tokyo in 2016. And earlier this year, got the chance to play the English national team.
Yeah, nice little European tour for Towson over the summer. And Coach Nadelin talking about playing against that English team, how they just kind of work the ball around in circles and kind of lull you to sleep. And, again, that's the international game versus the college game. There are adjustments to be made.
Of course, Towson, again, we're looking for some holes to be filled. This is a good chance out of season, really before preseason, get a chance of who may be stepping up and be ready when January comes around.
No question. Certainly they've helped themselves with a lot of transfers.
Yes.
5 new players this year, 9 transfers overall over the last couple of years. Coach Nadelin says the door is always open. You can take advantage of some of those early recruits that may have want to switch their decision when all said and done.
Of course, Team USA, wearing the white jerseys here. This is technically, as they would call it, the white team. Again, they've got about 49 guys on Team USA. As Matt pointed out earlier, they've got to cut that down to 23 by the time they go to the FIL championships next year. Only about 7 dates or 7 weekends, I should say, in a 2-year span where Team USA gets to evaluate themselves. And so this is one of those opportunities, and we're going to get it going here on the face-off. And we should point out that international rule, they can move a little bit, though both guys seemed a bit frozen.
Yeah, another wrinkle of the international face-off is if you can carry the ball in the back of your stick. That was eliminated in the college game just a couple of years ago.
I kind of missed that, to be honest with you. That was a kind of a cool little trick that some guys could pull off. But understandably, I understand why they got rid of it. As your Team USA will start off, Ryan Brown with possession on the wing, and they'll swing it around the far side. Moving right to left is Team USA in their white jerseys with blue numbers and trim, silver helmets. Trying to back down the Towson defense, a bit of a man-on-man defense. Nice shot in front and goal. Quickly on the way. Will Manny picks up the tally. A massive Pequot, New York native, gets on the scoreboard first, 1-0, and notice the clock, if you can. It continues to run. We'll have to get used to that as you check it out again, Matt.
See a lot of window dressing here from Kavanaugh, being able to draw the attention of the defense. Manny slips in the backside and finishes it point blank. Nice feed there by Kavanaugh.
Early signs of Team USA being on the same page with one another. Gurenlian on the face-off for Team USA. And this one's an epic battle. These two will not give it up. Looking for help, trying to find options, trying to redirect. That's pretty good scouting. And finally, the ball comes loose. It goes into the defensive end for Team USA. Infraction, and Team USA picks it up.
A lot of beef on that face-off with Gurenlian going up against Woodall. Gurenlian able to get the better of him.
Long stick into the offensive end as Ratliff takes a peek, and now he'll step out across midfield. And Team USA will start things for their second possession. Towson hasn't even had it yet, and they're down 1-0 early in this one.
Ratliff, of course, the pride of Atlanta, made a name for himself down the road here at Loyola during that NCAA title run in 2012.
That was a memorable run for Loyola. Towson almost mimicked it last year to some degree. The 11th seed getting all the way to the championship weekend. If you're looking for Connor Kelly, the Maryland player, he has it in his stick now as he passes off. He's at the top. They go to the far side. Quick moving inside. Shot and a save. Manny tried to go for goal number 2. Ball is loose. Good save that time. Shane Brennan is the starter for Towson, the sophomore from Huntington Station, New York. And a good check at midfield, and Team USA has it back.
And Brennan has been pushing Josh Miller for that starting position, so expect to see a little bit of both of them today.
So Team USA in full control right now. Towson's defense certainly getting a workout early in this one. Ball is loose, but it's going to be picked up by Chanachuk. And now they'll swing it around. Kelly with it. Of course, Kelly played yesterday for Team Maryland. You have to admit, Danowski didn't want one of his players to go up against his own team, so that's why he's playing today.
Well, that's another unique way you get to evaluate who's at your disposal, seeing him playing for the opposite side.
Especially when he did so well against Team USA yesterday. I think that probably turned some heads.
Certainly. He has to be considered a candidate for the Tewaaraton Trophy this year.
Absolutely. Big hit. Lot of action. Now a flag is up, and a little bit different in the national rule when the ball hits. Nope, they're going to blow it dead now.
Because the ball came out of the box. Once the ball leaves the box.
Did he maybe get the wrong line? I think he was still in the box, but the penalty's called nonetheless.
It was when that pass came out. Holding, 30 seconds. Past the restraining line. Nevertheless, get a first look at the Team USA extra man unit.
So Team USA up on that extra man. Towson, again, pressure on the defense here has been in their end primarily since we started this one 4 minutes ago. Shot from the wing and save. Read that well. Did Brennan, the Whistler. Coming from...
That's Connor Busick, one of the hardest shots in Major League Lacrosse, I think. Pretty sure he won the fastest shot competition at the MLL All-Star Game weekend. Yeah. Former U.S. U19 team player, played for the team in 2012, as did Matt Kavanaugh. So these guys know a little bit about the international game.
Towson with its first possession and a big hit. Coming on over, it's Haas. And a flag down now. The hit looked clean. I think it's the extracurricular activities that's going to draw the penalty. Offsides the call. This hit, he didn't see him coming. Right in the numbers.
Clean hit, though.
Haas over Mazza.
Haas used his speed to get in front of the ball carrier rather than trying to hit him from behind. The hit is good.
And of course, the penalty on Team USA. So Towson with its first possession, and they'll get a short man-up opportunity, only 15 seconds left. As Towson in its first offensive look of the game. And loose at the top, they'll pick it up. 5 seconds left in the extra man. Swinging around far side, shot and a save, and getting hit for good measure. Shot coming from Sunday. Saved by Phipps.
Nice job by the goalie to bail out your man-down unit.
Ooh.
You see Phipps to his off-stick side, seeing that ball all the way.
Another shot.
Well
Kavanaugh this time. Whistles it wide. Yeah, saw that well, didn't Phipps? On a whistler, and that shot also sails wide, and USA backs it up well.
So not just with that Hoss hit. It's been kind of physical here in the early going, and we saw Maryland try to do the same thing last night, just not backing down. And Sean Nadelin, he loves to breed that public school mentality here at Towson, and you know, they take on all comers, and they're certainly coming to play today.
Another opportunity in front, just squirts past the goal. Doesn't go out as Team USA regains possession. One thing I also noticed is Team USA slowing it down a little bit here, but there is some pace. And that's not much in the international game as we get a whistle off ball as the officials will confer. But again, we don't expect to see a quick pace in the international game, and I know Coach Danowski's talked a lot about that.
There are different forms of pace. I mean, I like what I see now just in terms of quick ball movement. Certainly you want to get the defense moving. Not the pace the kind of pace they don't want to play is helter-skelter, come down the field, make a shot, have it be popcorn for the goalie, and have it going back the other way for a 2 or 3 minute possession.
W.G. Tierney gave Coach Nadelin his start at Princeton back in 2002. Bill they're going to call, I guess, the previous goal good, as we see that great fact about Coach Tierney. Appropriately, we're here at Tierney Field. But again, it looks like they're counting the goal. I'll admit, that was a long delay before the officials decided to converse about it. I've called lacrosse for many years, Matt. I don't think I've seen that before.
No, and in fact, and it's kind of on the opposite side of the field here, but they're crediting Manny with the goal.
So I guess it snuck through.
To go, first quarter.
We will point out some of the Towson players wearing uniforms without numbers. We'll do our best to figure out who's who, as now Tom Kelly will get a chance at the face-off X for Team USA. For the record, in college, he had one face-off.
He did. It
did not win it.
he's quick to point out that fact. His college face-off record is 0 for 1.
Well,
he's
gets
part
this
of that
win.
Virginia team in 2011. Give him credit, though. I mean, after not really doing what he probably wanted to do academically there, going back to Long Island, training on his own, and now one among the elite face-off specialists in the world. Team
USA has always had elite face-off guys. You can go through a list back in the history of Team USA and just especially coming out of the college game of just face-off experts. And they got a long list here on this to be able to take to the World Championships.
Certainly. The one exception would be 2006 when the U.S. opted not to take a face-off specialist to Canada. Wound up losing in that game in the final with Jeff Snyder taking over. Lessons learned there. They've since made a point to have Fogos on the roster.
Nice pass inside and a bounce shot goal. Ryan Brown converts. Miles Jones the feed. Brown with the behind, basically back to the goal, bounce shot. Check it out again.
Yeah, and this starts with Miles Jones, the quick split dodge to his left, rolls to his right, draws the slide, and there's Brown who slips into the interior in such a smooth release with the bounce shot.
Brown with a nice out and back in to lose the defender. Basically slid when he saw him leaving the hole for him to come back in. Beautiful job there as Coach Danowski has a conversation with Jones. And that's always coaching.
And that's certainly what we're talking about in terms of versatility. Brown, we talked about him as a stretch shooter, a guy who's going to maybe stretch the defense a little bit, but there he's doing it as an interior player.
Team USA up 3-0 early here as we have played about 8.5 minutes. And you saw the ball in the back of the stick there from Kelly as he wins the faceoff. Ryan Brown enters his own. So those swinging around, and if you're Towson's defense, you've got to be tired by this point. They have seen the ball primarily in their end in the beginning of this game.
Certainly the U.S. winning the face-off battle to contribute to that, and that's going to be key. I mean, as with any team, any game, your strength up the middle, your goalkeeping, and your face-off. So they got a nice save by Brian Phipps on the man down, and they've dominated possession ever since.
As good as Alex Woodall is at the X, he's going up against some of the best in the world.
No question.
At the face-off. Nice save in front, point blank, as Brennan is showing why he is in this goalie mix. Loses control of the ball, trying to avoid the check from Kavanaugh. Now he'll feed it upfield to midfield. And Towson will be able to cross midfield for just the second time today, but scary moment for Brennan there off the save.
Nice job by John Mazza to rein in that tough outlet pass. He's the one experienced player back on Towson's offense, their top returning scorer, and someone they're going to need to really take his game to another level this season.
Team USA getting their second chance defensively to show what they've got, and they're going to closely guard well out. That is Ratliff well out of the zone. Picking up on Grant Malouf. A lot of communication from Team USA on display. Kinnear with it. Now passes off to Malouf. Malouf back to Kinnear. Kinnear's going to go one-on-one. Feed inside. No option there as triple team. Tries to feed outside to Malouf. Malouf's in a battle with two other Team USA players. Sweep it up towards midfield does Muller, but Towson regains. A little bit of an errant pass as Towson's trying to find themselves here. Pass in front, just missed. A wide open Laundry in front. And now the ball will go out of bounds and will belong to Team USA. Team USA's defense everywhere.
Swarming effort there by the U.S. defense, trying to make Towson as uncomfortable as possible. They know the Tigers' attack is vastly inexperienced, and they're trying to exploit that today.
Towson with a bit of a half-court press there, let's say, and Team USA easily defeats it. We are 9 minutes left to go here in the first. Again, running clock. Only stoppage, I think, was for the conversation on whether the second one was a goal or not.
Certainly, and that may have slipped through the netting.
Yeah.
When all said and done, because the officials did need to regroup and ultimately credited Manny with that goal.
Jones with possession, far side. They go behind the cage to Malloy. Back to the far side, shot in the goal. Buzek with a whistler from the alley. And it's 4-0, 8.5 minutes left to go in the first. He was wide open on the backside. Towson almost felt like they overcommitted to the near side and lost track of him. There he is. He's got, 10, 15 yards of space.
He can bring the heat.
Yeah, you can't feel bad for Brennan.
Did not stand a chance. No. Credit Malloy, too, for drawing a lot of attention, just using that big body of his at goal line extended, skipping it over the top to find Busick with time and room.
Should say I do feel bad for Brennan, but I don't fault him as that one was a whistler. Another face-off win for Team USA. Quickly into the offensive end. Quick passes in front. Shot and a save. Kavanaugh's looking for the net. Another opportunity. Shot and a goal. Picks up the loose ball. Does Will Haas. Buries it, and Brennan's seeing a lot of shots early in this one.
Yeah, if you're
clicking on all cylinders, sorry.
If you're the Towson defense, you have to give your goalie the benefit of getting that ground ball off the rebound. It winds up in a U.S. stick. It's Will Haas, who we've seen play some defensive midfield, but showing there a little bit of offensive acumen as well.
Looks like Team USA's figured out if they want to get past Brennan, shoot low. They've had a couple of low shots so far, the last two, looking like they went through the wickets. And another easy face-off win. Here comes Team USA down the throat of Towson again. But they back off a bit and will reset as Towson got back on defense. 5-0, 7 minutes left to go here in the first. As Kelly with it. Hasn't had to be a factor in this game so far.
U.S. already with 11 shots on goal in this first quarter.
Roscoe comes in from midfield. Almost caught Towson's defense out of position on the change. Team USA kind of playing that slow down now, trying to hold on to possession. Kelly, one-on-one with Goodrich. Shot up top, goal. It was another low one for Caro this time. Whistles it by Brennan. It's 6-0. Vaccaro stepped in, had plenty of room to step into that one.
He's one of those recent college graduates out of Villanova who has made an impression through this U.S. process. Was a late addition to the tryout roster, but he had a great summer in Major League Lacrosse, and you see a little bit of why there.
Sean Nadelin will call timeout for Towson as they now see themselves down 6-0 with 6:08 left, and Team USA gets a chance to talk things over as well. You got to be pretty thrilled if you're Coach Danowski and his staff at what this group has been able to do so far. And look at the familiarity this Towson squad has. You've got 3 guys from Kent Island in Maryland, Goodrich, Gerfreda, and Frommer, and then 3 guys from Canada, from Ontario, Alberta, and British Columbia, but playing a similar game. And the coaching staff, this is unheard of, especially in the college game. The 3 top guys, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and head coach, been together for 7 years, Matt.
Yeah, tremendous continuity in this coaching staff. Towson has had great success in recent years, and some of these coaches may have had opportunities that maybe the grass seemed greener to others, but that's Coach Sean Nadalin included, right, in recent years. But they love Towson. They love what they're building there, and they're building it together.
Speaking of building, this is a pretty nice building, built a few years ago. I live nearby, and I honestly have not gotten to take advantage of it as much as I can, but the museum is spectacular, man.
Yeah, it's an honor and a privilege to work in this facility, funded entirely by private donations. People who just want a national hub for the sport, not only to showcase our national teams, but to showcase the history of the game, the tradition, and also have a place that we can be proud to call our home as we grow and the sport continues to grow.
I should say this facility also starting to get used more and more. This is something you guys want to have Tierney Field basically be a destination.
No question. It's a state-of-the-art facility. A lot of thought and time went into building it. It's made specifically for lacrosse and for the best lacrosse.
As we're back from timeout, Team USA is back to maintaining possession. Called that a shot, and so backed up by Team USA and maintained control. The shot from Tom Kelly. There are 2 Kellys on the team. Connor Kelly, number 7. Tom Kelly, number 24. Not that that's any confusing. And there's a 3rd Kelly, I think, who's at least in the mix.
That's the goalie, Jack Kelly, yes, indeed.
Yep. When you take a look at Team USA getting a shot, it's Connor Kelly, whistles one wide, and gives us a chance to go down to Bob Trossett with an update from the sidelines. Bob.
Hey, Dave. Just had a chance to sit in on the Team USA huddle there at the first time out, and Coach Danowski really emphasizing the need to continue to spread the ball. He said, quote, basically, guys, it's mentally tough to play with a lead. Well, they're doing just fine so far here in the first. Dave, back to you.
Thank you, Bob. As Team USA loses possession, though, peppered the goal with a couple shots in the meantime, including another one from Connor Kelly, but now Brennan's got it back in his stick as Towson will try and come up. Now, remember, there is no clear clock, so they can take their time. They don't have 30 seconds across midfield. They don't have 10 seconds then to get it into the offensive end. So Towson, no rush. Comes up. Double team is on and heavy for Jafrida, and they get it into the corner. And we'll set up now. 4.5 minutes left to go here in the first. It is 6-0 Team USA as Towson, with really only its 3rd or 4th offensive possession so far. Plenty of room. Whistles it just past the far post. Great shot that time from Goodrich as Team USA had a miscommunication there.
Yeah, Towson trying to take advantage of the substitution patterns coming off the clear. Got a nice look on goal. Now look to get their offensive personnel in the game.
And Team USA showing they like to extend their defense, more than happy to play man-to-man as far from the goal as they need. Lots of communication from Team USA. I say that because it is clear through our headsets. They are vocal out there on the field as Towson well away from the goal here as Team USA has pushed him outside. Getting a chance. McLean looking in front, can't find anything, and he'll go back around the wing to the near side to Monahan. Monahan had a look, but well defended. Tries to get it back to McLean. And Team USA picks it up, and they're off to the races downfield. Richard up ahead. Kavanaugh looking to get on the board. Goes behind the cage. Quick pass in front, and a dump shot is good. The pass coming from Malloy, the goal from Abbott.
Mike Chanachuk.
Abbott. Chanachuk. I'm pretty sure that was Abbott.
Team USA goal scored by 6, Mike Chanachuk.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, looks like Matt Abbott comes streaking down the field. Malloy with a nice feed.
In the first quarter.
Abbott not giving up on the play in transition. He's so dangerous on defense. He's a gazelle up and down the field. But in Major League Lacrosse, he's really shown that he can be an offensive threat as well. Shows it to you there.
Ball movement key so far for Team USA. You said that would be a key in this game, and they are certainly showing that they can move the ball well as a unit.
And it's defense turning into offense. We saw that great defensive possession. You mentioned there was a lot of chatter down there, and that's a good sign if you're the U.S. To be honest, last night it was kind of quiet. It was kind of quiet down there, especially when Maryland was making its comeback and to make that a game. A lot more talk today, and that's a good sign for the U.S.
Team USA wins another faceoff. They are now 8 for 8 on the game with 2:15 left to go here in the first quarter. And Towson would love to get the ball out of the defensive end here. But so far, Team USA has maintained control of everything. Janachuk with it, now feeds in front. Shot off the post for Caro, looking for another. And you could hear it hit the pipe from all the way back here. Jones now with possession. That's the other thing, is they're getting the rebounds, they're getting the extra opportunities. They're there to get the ball back into their cross so that Towson doesn't get a break.
Well, Towson defense definitely going more to the interior.
And another low shot for Caro. Dials it up, shoots low, and we got another goal for them. It is now 8-0 Team USA with less than 90 seconds left to go here in the first quarter.
I was saying that Towson's defense, they're really playing in tight, really sloughing in and willing to concede the outside shots. However, you're conceding those shots to the best shooters on the planet, for Caro among them.
I was going to say, okay, good idea in a lot of cases. Against this squad right now, they're showing that that's just feeding into what they want to do and are capable of doing. They have hit a lot of deep shots.
And to be honest, that's not really preparing the U.S. for what they want to do come next summer. They want to be all about the ball movement and getting those slam dunks. The long ball, we tend to fall in love with it. That's kind of the nature of the American game, and we've been victimized by it in international play.
The arc in Major League Lacrosse with the extra point, essentially, for that, certainly can see that. And you're right. The international guys will kind of not do that. They'll make that a little more hard when they get to the international game.
No, when you're talking about Team Canada, we're probably going to see
Flag down, by the way.
We're probably going to see Dylan Ward again, and he'll stop those all day.
Shot goes high from Sunday, but a flag down. Team USA, looks like Will Haas is the offender as he quickly sprints off the field. I've never seen a guy take a penalty faster in my life.
Number 9, Will Haas.
Penalties were a problem last night. You would think the team was talked to last night and today about avoiding those situations, and Haas raises his stick and races off the field. My bad. Let's get it back.
Team USA will let the clock run out of the first quarter. They are trailing 8-0. Team USA putting on a show so far. What will happen next? We'll find out when we come back to the U.S. Lacrosse Fall Classic. It is 8-0 Team USA up on Towson.
Why do we do what we do?
Well, we believe that participation in lacrosse positively influences lives.
We believe lacrosse should be open to all kids that want to play.
We believe in a future that offers everyone the opportunity to participate.
U.S. Lacrosse is a nonprofit organization that provides resources to fuel the sport's growth and development.
Support our efforts at uslacrosse.org.
U.S. Lacrosse Fall Classic brought to you by Cascade. The U.S. men's national team trains and plays using best-in-class products. Thanks to Cascade for supplying Team USA's helmets for today's Fall Classic. To shop Cascade products, visit CascadeLacrosse.com. Cascade, the official helmet supplier of Team USA. Well, welcome back. Let's take a look at the first quarter highlights, and it's all Team USA, Matt.
Yeah, the U.S. outshooting Towson in this first quarter, 18-3, assisted by winning 8 of 9 faceoffs. And here you see Towson goalie up to the challenge early, and Towson showing a little fight. Will Haas with a big hit for the U.S. Brian Phipps makes a nice save, and that really got the U.S. going.
That's a beautiful feed right here, too.
Miles Jones drawing a lot of traffic, dumping it off to Ryan Brown with the sweet finish, and then Connor Busick showing his range. This is one of those loose ball scenarios which seemed to bounce the U.S. way pretty much throughout the entire first quarter, and that was Will Haas with the finish.
Another thing to notice, a lot of low shots beating Brennan low and finding the back of the net as Team USA poured it on, 8-0 after one, and you see more and more. There's Abbott cutting through on the nice feed. And then the deep shot, that time from Percaro picking up his second goal. As you see the fans on hand, we should point out the weather's a little squirrely today. Yesterday, beautiful sunshine, nice weather. Today, it's been raining. We've seen some sun break through. It's been a little bit windy. It's a little bit of an odd day.
Yeah, a little bit of everything here. As this extended summer, it feels like it's been here in the Baltimore area. But luckily, the more severe weather holding off for us to get this game in today.
As we start the second, clock again will be running, as Team USA put up 8 in that first quarter. Now switching sides, and Towson takes the early shot. That time, Mazza whistles it high as they swing around. Feet in front off the side netting. Nice shot from Towson, but cannot beat the Team USA goalie. As USA comes in, goalie remains Brian Phipps for Team USA.
Yeah, we'll see Phipps probably for the rest of this first quarter. And then Drew Adams, the veteran from the 2014 U.S. team. Expect to see him in the second half.
Towson hanging back, as we mentioned, willing to take those deep shots. It's kind of a catch-22, as you said earlier. Team USA willing to take those shots and has been successful, but it's not necessarily what they should be practicing if they're getting ready for the World Championships coming up soon. So it's a catch-22.
Little hidden ball action there for the U.S. up top.
Connor Kelly. Dodge. Swing back. Tries to find another. Being well guarded by Goodrich. Of course, Goodrich will pick up usually the best guy in the other team. Another opportunity, and they'll go behind the cage.
I don't anticipate Towson will ever take Goodrich off the field this spring. I mean,
no.
He's got 60 minutes written all over him.
Yeah, he is the best defensive. Well, he's the best midfielder. Of course, Nadalin says that, but a lot of other guys will say that. When we check out the point-blank save. Whew. A little kick save. Well done.
Just got enough of it to skirt it wide of the cage.
But back to Goodrich again. You said, probably a Twarton. At least we know nominee will probably be a finalist. He's just that good, and you're right. He doesn't come out.
I'd say finalist is a little aggressive for Goodrich in particular. We were talking about Connor Kelly in that conversation.
Sure.
But, it's hard for those defensive guys to get that kind of recognition. Specialists, we saw last year, Trevor Baptiste, he was the first face-off specialist ever to be a Tewaaraton finalist. So the nod usually goes to the guys who put the ball in the back of the net, but certainly he's respected as one of the best in the country. Goodrich is,
That's
no question.
That's a fair point. Another flag down here as Towson remains on offense. Feet in front, and ball will go down. Difference in the game. Ball hit the turf, and immediately the whistle blows, and we'll get looks like a 30-second interference call on Will Haas, his second penalty of the game.
Very active first half for Will Haas.
Yes, he's been on both sides of everything. A really big hit, got a goal. He's also had a couple penalties. Coach Danowski comes up, has a bit of a wry smile on his face, talking to Haas.
That's his college coach, so I'm sure he has a few words.
Almost like, hey, haven't we talked about that before?
For years.
For years. I see you haven't lost that. Shot from up top is saved easily by Brennan. The shot coming from Monahan. We'll maybe get a chance later in the game talk more about Monahan, who's maybe an X factor on this Towson squad. As Team USA will cross midfield, Abbott will dump it off and feed Chanichuk. And, of course, the penalty is clear. 30 seconds goes by quickly, especially with a moving clock.
Monahan, one of those transfers we were talking about earlier, never really got on track at Maryland. Change of scenery, could be an impact player for the Tigers.
Well, he had also initially said he was going to Ohio State before deciding to go to Maryland instead. And he's had a little bit of a indecision. I don't know if that's fair to say. Is another shot saved by Brennan. Another shot whistles past. Looks like one of the long stickmen for Towson thought he had the ball and went running upfield, and as a result left open a wide open shooting range. And Manny picks up the hat trick.
Yeah, it seemed as if Sid Ewell had come up with this ground ball, but it flails out of his stick. And check out the handy stick work from Manny just to catch it and shoot it.
And his teammate
nary
get
a
out
cradle.
Of the way. And
then he sticks it in the top corner.
Wow.
Some nifty stick work, indeed.
All kinds of things going on in that play. One, the defenseman thinks he's got the ball. Two, to pick it out of midfield and shoot. But how about his teammate? Realizing he better duck fast. Towson Team USA with another face-off win. And they will get going, and Towson's not even picking up the man. Finally, the slide comes over. Shot high as the hit comes. As Buzek was looking to shoot high, as they've changed it up on Brennan. They had been going low. Now they're coming high on him.
Yeah, if I'm Towson making the adjustment coming out of the first quarter, it's get out on the hands of Connor Buzek and Jake Fricaro. Don't let those guys get their hands free.
So Team USA with possession. And they will wait for midfielder Connor Kelly to streak in. Here he comes. Nice quick pass back. Here comes Team USA. Trying to move and find an opening. Towson defense a little out of shape. And Team USA gives them a chance to find the right guys. For a moment there was a couple of guys with indecisions. As we've got 14:25 left to go here in the second. Towson's starting to figure things out. Team USA obviously trying to do specific things as well. Nice feed right along the crease. And a shot from Rasco is no good. Brennan with a save. Towson picks it up. Now they're going to try and clear, and there's a swarm of white jerseys. Now they'll go backwards, and they'll try and use Brennan for the clear as Team USA backs off the forecheck. Check out the save again, Matt.
Yeah, Marasco left wide open on the left wing. Goes low, which has been successful for U.S. here in the first half, but that time
Brennan had that well read.
That time Brennan's ready to make the stop.
So again, 9-0 Team USA as a whole in this game. 13.5 minutes left in this second quarter. Towson in their road blacks with white numbers and yellow trim moving right to left, white helmets as well. Team USA in their white uniforms. This is the quote-unquote white team, as you would call it, with blue numbers and trim and silver helmets, moving left to right.
You can tell Towson wants to give its defense a breather. They've been playing a ton of defense, and it's been a little bit of an adventure on clears. U.S. defense, however, pressing out.
Well, and this is good for Team USA, too. If Towson's going to play keep away, that's exactly what they need to practice against.
Exactly. Especially if there's a scenario late in the game. You see the U.S. trailing Canada particularly, and they're trying to work the ball around. They're going to have to extend and find ways to come up with the turnover.
I know Coach Danowski said he asked Maryland for slowdowns late in the quarters. He did not necessarily ask that from Towson. Towson seems to be doing it just out of necessity, which is not that bad a thing here if you're a Team USA fan. But look at the extended defense and a clinic and a good job of getting in the passing lane by Tim Muller. And Team USA gets it back to their keeper, Brian Phipps, the Annapolis, Maryland native, and will move upfield. Slip and a fall, though, by Constable, but able to pick it back up. And thought he was going to enter the fray, but he will back out, and they'll get a short stick in here.
Got a good look at Mike Manley on that defensive possession for the U.S., giving his guy the business.
Flag down. Away from ball.
Manley, of course, just arrived a couple minutes before opening face-off. He's a New York State trooper and certainly has his hands full. But when he's on the field, one of the best in the game.
30-second foul going to be called here on Towson. Their first penalty of the game, if I remember correctly. Offsides. So the USA will go to a man advantage. You talk about Manley. Yeah, we were down there 30 minutes before the game. He hadn't arrived yet. The coaches didn't really know if they were going to be putting him in the lineup, and you and I spotted him as they came out for the national anthem.
Yeah, and credit to him and what he's been able to achieve in his career. Really hard to make that elite group of New York State troopers, and I don't think you have to worry about him being in physical condition or anything to that effect.
Shot, and it squirts past Brennan. I would say that's how Will Manny drew it up for goal number 4, but I'm not quite positive. Brennan had it covered. He got to his post fast enough, but that's the second one that squirted underneath Brennan.
And it's amazing that Brennan was able to even get there. Look at how quick this ball movement is for the U.S.
Beautiful.
All the way across the crease to Manny.
Manny didn't waste any time.
With a nice quick stick down low. That's tough. Quick stick up high, guys are used to doing that. If it goes low to that little hockey shot, it's definitely not as easy as he made it look.
The help defense trying to get over in time from Goodrich. There's only so much Goodrich can do on the field. And asking both Goodrich and Brennan a lot there with Manny so open on the near post.
We've seen some nice work from Malloy as a feeder in this game. Really drawing attention, using that big body of his, but then making some nice passes.
I rarely see face-off guys look up and see where their teammates are to figure out what they're going to do with it. While we got the moment, let's go down to Bob Trossett with more on the sideline.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Matt. Just had a chance to overhear a conversation between Will Hawes and head coach John Danowski. Of course, Hawes picked up a couple penalties here in the early going, and Coach Danowski came over to him, pointed him, said, "Will, you are one bad man." So the humor going strong here for Team USA as they continue to cruise. Back to you guys.
And we are halfway through the second quarter here. Thanks, Bob, for that update. It is 10-0. Team USA against Towson. Again, a team that made it to the semifinals last year of the NCAA tournament. Nice shot in front. That is the way to work it, as Busick made sure he got his opportunity. Went through about 4 or 5 guys before finding the back of the net. And it is another Team USA goal.
We've seen Busick score from long range, and Towson has to respect that. So they come out, try to extend. Look at that fake as he hangs on to the ball inside of the triple team. And that's as high percentage as it gets, but entirely created for himself. Busick with a tremendous individual effort.
That's outstanding as we get another face-off. So far, face-offs, Towson's won 1. Team USA has won 10. And Towson is going to win a second. And then Team USA picks up the turnover. At least I believe they'll go down as a Towson win. We'll find out officially. Towson with a little bit of pressure here. Goalie's out of the cage. Ball still loose. Team USA guys crashing into each other. Ball still down on the ground. Towson can't pick it up either. A lot of pushing, and Towson finally picks up the loose ball. And we'll try and get in the offensive set. A lot of bodies flying, not a lot of ball handling.
It's Andrew Dare coming in for the ground ball. Seeing a lot of this Towson roster today. A lot of new names as they're trying to see who's going to be their identity, who's going to be the guys they're going to send out come February.
The danger of fall ball is trying to put a board together of a lacrosse because you just don't know who's going to play. As the ball goes out of bounds on the turnover, and Team USA will pick it up as you see a lot of the fans here on hand here at Tierney Field at the headquarters of U.S. Lacrosse here in north central Baltimore County, north of Baltimore, in one of the several hotbeds, certainly very hotbeds of U.S. Lacrosse.
I think that was Papa Beast we just saw, Greg Arenlian's father.
Is that who that was?
Yeah, making the trip.
Of course, the game's spreading as well, down into the south, down to Atlanta and Florida. Obviously, we've known about Denver, but it's moving even west of the Rockies now. While this is one of those traditional 3 or 4 hotbeds, Long Island, Baltimore, western and central New York, and the New England area, consider that it's spreading and spreading quickly. So it's good to see the fans taking this one in, but we see guys now on these rosters from further away.
Yeah, we talked about Scott Ratliff earlier from Atlanta. Connor Busick, an Ohio product. Yep. Kind of escapes me some of the other names that we'll see in this game
and
today
a guy like
in particular.
Kavanaugh, who's from New York, but is willing to go out to Denver and play lacrosse.
Yeah, he's been a nice addition for the Outlaws. Denver's been a destination for aspiring pro lacrosse players for many years now. Tremendous team in the Outlaws, and in the NLL, the Colorado Mammoth.
Yeah.
Just a huge lacrosse boom out there. And then those guys stick around and contribute to the growth of the game out there.
Of course, Towson, they've got guys from California on their squad and elsewhere. This isn't just Ponte Verde, Florida. I don't know why you would leave Ponte Verde, Florida necessarily to come to – nothing against Towson or anybody up here. That's beautiful weather down there all year long. But that's where this game is spread, and certainly nice to see that of this game.
And last night we saw all 3 Bernhardt brothers, 2 for Team USA, Jared Bernhardt from Maryland, coming out of Florida.
Yep.
Football prospects from there.
And some of these guys even coaching in those far-flung areas as well. So it's fun to see the game spread as Team USA continues to pour it on here. 11-0, another turnover, and here they come the other direction. I am Dave McHugh alongside Matt DeSilver, our sideline reporter, Bob Trossett. We hope you are enjoying this game here from the headquarters of U.S. Lacrosse in Sparks, Maryland. And then the weather has calmed down for us. There isn't as much rain anymore. The wind has picked up, but we'll take the non-rain, that is for sure. As we look on to this one, pace has certainly slowed down, which is probably in the benefit of Team USA for practice reasons.
No question. I mean, they need to learn how to possess and get that shot clock mentality out of their heads.
And that's one way, and that's legal, remember, in the international game, but they're going to say he was in the crease. And it'll be a turnover for Towson, but Marasco trying to go with the dive goal there. It's out of the college game. It's still legal in the international game.
Yeah, but you have to leave your feet before you get to the crease. Obviously, Marasco unable to do that in that circumstance.
He stepped over the line, says the official, and we will go back at it. I also wonder how hard it is for the officials to adjust to all the differences in rules. They're used to one version. They're used to it. These guys cross over. They do international. They do college. They do MLL. I think it's hard on the officials to remember which rules they're calling.
Sure, an equally challenging task on their part. But the U.S. will send a delegation of officials to Israel next summer, as will Canada. And everybody's used to operating with different rules.
That's another thing. We talk about the weather here today. The temperature's in the mid-70s. It's nice. It's not going to be like this in Israel next year. It's going to be a little hotter. And I know Coach Danowski talked about that. How does a team get ready for something like that is my question. That's not easy to do.
As we see the nice pick there by Tim Muller, but you're right. That's why that versatility is so important.
Here they come up quick, nice dodge, feed across to the long stick, can't get it to Constable as Haas was in traffic, ball goes out of bounds. And we haven't seen a lot of this, and it's a Team USA turnover. You've only had a single turnover heading into that moment.
Yeah, it's been a pretty clean game for the U.S. with the exception of a few penalties, and that's really where Towson has had its opportunities. When it's been 6-on-6, it's been all USA.
And the full court press here from Team USA, from hockey, call it a forecheck, is giving Towson fits. And again, there's no clock here. Towson doesn't have to get in, though. It's interesting. You can see in their minds, I think they felt they had to get in. That's hard to beat. You talk about the MLL guys getting used to a shot clock in their head. College guys probably have to get used to the fact that they can take their time.
Well, I think the reason you see the U.S. doing this is that's a way to inject tempo into the game is by pressing on the ride and making teams work to get the ball down the field.
Another stick in the passing lane. Constable again, and he will enter the zone. Yeah, the Team USA ride certainly on display with 3 minutes left to go here in the second quarter. And we will get a timeout, and it's going to be Team USA, obviously, because in lacrosse, it's the one who has possession is allowed to call the timeout. We'll check out some of the things. U.S. face-off, NCAA career. That's a pretty good set of numbers for Team USA. And again, we highlight Tom Kelly because in college, that wasn't his strong point. But as you pointed out earlier, he has made it his game.
Yeah, and this is a position where you can train independently and put yourself in a position to play with the best there are in the country. Tom Kelly's acquitted himself quite well here tonight. Had a nice game last night against Maryland. The veteran there, Greg Grenlian, just retired from Major League Lacrosse as their all-time face-off leader. Trevor Baptiste actually trained under Grenlian when Baptiste was in high school. He's obviously the best in the college game today at Denver, a Tewaaraton finalist. Brendan Fowler, Joe Nardella, not getting a look at those guys this weekend. They're both injured, but certainly in the mix.
But that's the thing is this team has so many options. And again, you talk about versatility. They may not bring Tom Kelly because of his face-off, or they may not bring another guy because of his face-off. They might bring him for something else, but now they got a third or a fourth guy they can put at the X in case they need to change things up.
I think they're committed to bringing two face-off specialists. Nothing has been set in stone, but maybe you look at someone like a CJ Costabile, a long pole that can face off, bring you multiple elements, but I think you want to have two hands that you could go to in a clutch situation.
Nationwide is the official insurance provider of Team USA. For more information and to shop insurance products that make sense for you, visit nationwide.com.
The interesting thing about that face-off scenario is who's Canada going to bring? Because there's been talk that Jeff Snyder can be back for another go at it for a fourth time, it's
a lot under the legs.
World championship, even though he's retired from professional lacrosse. Jake Withers, of course, just graduated from Ohio State, had a nice summer. One of the top NLL draft picks. I expect to see a lot of Withers, and so you're trying to compare how these guys do in that particular matchup, not just how they do against Towson, Maryland, or even each other.
We're a long way out, but I gather from all the research you do as you work up to these World Championships. Team USA and Team Canada are obviously the picks to be battling it out. But is there an outlier? Is there someone else that, especially if you're a Team USA fan, you need to watch out for?
Well, certainly you can never count out the Iroquois, just given the talent that's been coming out of the Six Nations steadily for the last decade or so. The Thompson brothers, of course, are drawing a lot of acclaim. They're certainly an X factor. Australia has been in the conversation. England is vastly improving out of that blue division. But certainly, people are looking to U.S. and Canada.
Nice feed in front. Vaquero's just finding every way he can to find the back of the net. This time the feed from Kavanaugh as Vaquero picks up a hat trick. He and Manny have accounted for 7 of the 12 goals so far today as Kavanaugh picks up another assist.
Kavanaugh seeming to sweep up the top and looking as if they were going to change fields, and instead he just dumps it inside to Vaquero in open space.
You mentioned the Thompson brothers. I always love watching them play. They just bring a different attitude and a different speed almost to the college game.
You're not alone in that regard. I was lucky enough a couple of years ago when Albany played Notre Dame in the quarterfinals. It was one of those few playoff games that I wasn't actually at working. I had some obligations at home. I watched it as a fan, and I'm down in my basement screaming upstairs like, "Did you see that?" and that's what the Thompson brothers bring to the game. And they've done just a tremendous job carrying that over until the professional ranks.
You and I both. I was watching that game saying the same stuff from my basement as well. I think I may have scared the family. As another big battle at the X. So one thing I want to take away from this, Team USA may have the stats at the X, but it's not like Towson hasn't been backing down. It's just a matter of who ends up getting the ball free as we get another timeout called by Team USA here with 32.5 seconds left. Obviously want to set up a final play here before the half.
Yeah, good opportunity to see what they can do in these pressure situations, quote unquote. I mean, they're up 12-0 in this game, but you can mimic that. You need to score in 30 seconds. What are you going to draw up, and how are they going to execute?
Obviously, going into halftime, we're hoping to give everybody a break. By the way, this isn't the only thing going on these two games. We also had some great action earlier today in the 9/11 Memorial game.
Yeah, U.S. Lacrosse has done a great job, kind of honoring the memory of those in the lacrosse community who were lost in the attacks of 9/11. And today in particular, we're honored to have the first responders from New York and Virginia play out a game. And we had the fire trucks all lined up, and there was a dedication of a special 9/11 memorial exhibit in the museum inside. This is one of the things that makes you love the game, and to see these guys come together and put on a pretty good show earlier today.
Pentagon defeated the first responders 12-9. I caught a little bit of this before today's game. It was intense. There was no backing down from either side. This may have been a nice exhibition game, but neither side was taking it that way. They were fighting for it tooth and nail.
Well, last year for the grand opening, we had NYPD versus FDNY. Very similar, level. But after the game, they come together and they remember why they're here, and it's a really special moment.
They're still comrades outside once the game ends, but a terrific moment earlier today, and again, part of the weekend here of the U.S. Lacrosse Fall Classic as we get underway here with 16 seconds left to go in the second half. Team USA looking to notch one more on as they lead 12-0 in this one against Towson. Couple dodges. Ball loose, still ends up thought in a Team USA, and it will not. It looks like this one's going to expire before anyone gets a chance. But good defense from Towson that time to disrupt Team USA, and at the half, it is 12-0. If you're Towson, you're probably happy. It was 8-0 at the end of the quarter. You only gave up 4 in the second, but obviously a lot of changes from Team USA too. This is essentially, while they're winning, a practice as well. They're trying to do things that both show that they can play well and at the same time show they can execute what the coaches want to execute.
Yeah, and now's the time to see in certain situations how your players are going to respond. And for instance, at the end of that second quarter, you can bet they'll probably be talking a lot about that sloppy possession to end it. You got to nitpick on the certain things that are going to help you see who's going to represent this team and how are they going to represent this team.
Let's go down to the field. Bob with one of the coaches.
Hey, Coach Zanowski here. Coach, through the first half, you guys were rolling. What did you see from the team?
First of all, our draw guys are doing a great job. Tommy Kelly and Greg Guranulin, we're doing a terrific job. So when you have possession of the ball that much, the field gets tilted. You gain some confidence. Your opponent starts to maybe press a little bit. Defensively, I think our guys are doing a really nice job pressing out a little bit and putting some pressure. Offensively, we're getting some goals from a lot of different people, and that's the way it's supposed to be.
You mix and matched a lot with the lineup that first half. Should we expect that again for the second half? And if so, what is the philosophy behind that?
Absolutely. 23 guys in the roster. You've got 2 face-off guys. You've got 2 goalies. That's 4. We're suiting up 9 offensive guys. Everybody plays.
I know you like this song. Go enjoy it and enjoy the second half, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Back to you guys.
If I know a lacrosse coach, he's probably never satisfied. They're always going to work on something no matter the score. For 12-0, you got to be happy if you're Team USA and the Danowski staff.
Yeah, certainly some great ball movement and some really great defensive stands. You saw them really get after it.
So we are at the half. It is 12-0, Team USA on Towson. A little bit different than yesterday's game. We'll take a break. When we come back, more from the half, and we'll get you ready for the second half. You are watching the U.S. Lacrosse Classic. It is Game 2. USA up on Towson, 12-0 here in Sparks, Maryland.
Cleveland is on the rise. Like much of urban America over the past 5 decades, it has struggled. But a tight-knit band of diverse, hardworking communities have bonded together to collectively grow and invest in a brighter future. Residents and institutions are deeply committed to improving the life and health of the community. It's because of this dedication that U.S. Lacrosse has chosen Ohio City as the national pilot for the Lacrosse Communities Project.
Thank you very, very much for being here at Urban Community School and for the launch of the Lacrosse Communities Project here in Cleveland.
I found that whenever we give young people choices and whenever we expose them to alternatives, they always do better and they generally make the right decision.
Our primary goal is not to identify and nurture the most gifted athletes, but rather to positively impact every child exposed to the sport. A positive lacrosse experience can change the trajectory of a child's life, and through the Lacrosse Communities Project, we're committed to working with invested community partners throughout the country to do just that.
We are here today because of the unique opportunity to bring lacrosse into the city. This is an asset that is going to be able to be used to help broaden one of the best schools in our neighborhood, as well as serve the broader community, which is really important.
I think it's the next logical step for the growth of the game. Really, you've got an untapped resource with thousands and thousands of kids, and we want to give the opportunity to those kids to experience lifelong friends, opportunities that are priceless.
This becomes the place where the rock hits the pond, from which the sport ripples out through Cleveland, giving the next generation of youth the opportunity to embrace America's first sport.
The U.S. Lacrosse Fall Classic brought to you by Greenfields. Today's Fall Classic being played on Greenfields MX Trimension Woven Turf at Tierney Field. For more information, visit greenfieldsusa.com. Greenfields, the official turf provider of Team USA. Let's take a look at the first half highlights, Matt, and Team USA, and Team USA.
Certainly there was a greater sense of urgency out of the U.S. You saw them really crisp with their ball movement, playing hard on defense. Will Haas with a big hit. Phipps coming up with some big saves early, and then the offense really got on track. See a lot of this initiation from the midfielders, drawing the slide, dumping off to the inside, getting the slam dunk. They had the outside game working as well. Haas again, very active in that first half. Here's for Caro.
A lot of outside shots as well.
Yeah, and they were certainly on point. Against an unproven goalie who had for Towson, who had an unenviable task today.
Yeah. You got a feel for Brennan, who was doing his best, came up with some big saves, but they poured it on in the second half as well. Not as many goals, but Team USA maintaining possession.
Yeah, and this was probably the play of the first half. Music maintaining control through all of that traffic, bringing it back to 2 hands and stuffing it.
And a nice feed in front, and another goal from Manny. But Brennan's showing he can get over there to cover that as well. But sometimes the luck just isn't on your side.
Well, that was tough for Towson. They let a lot of rebounds go into the U.S. sticks, and you certainly can't give Team USA second opportunities like that.
So obviously Team USA dominating a lot of this. Team USA with 12 goals, 28 shots to 5. Saves are obviously going to be in Towson's favor just by the amount of shots on cage. Ground balls in Team USA's favor. And face-offs, Towson's only won 2 of the 13. Will Manny leading the way with 4 goals, and Team USA continuing to do well. And if you're Towson, do you really want to change anything up? I mean, this is really practice for them. If you're Team USA, you're really trying to do what you want to do too, right?
Well, you saw some good things out of Towson later in that second period. They kind of settled down a little bit on defense. I'd like to see that core defense stay out a little bit longer just to, gain some confidence. That is where Towson has the most experience.
This is not the only Team USA. There's obviously lots of USA teams around the country being run by U.S. Lacrosse. The women had a very successful summer. Let's take a look back at their gold medal at the World Cup.
This is your time. Everybody's meant to be here. Let's go do it.
So congratulations to Team USA Women. It was a busy summer for them as they also won gold at the first ever World Games. So congratulations to Team USA Women. Of course, it's 12-0 here. Men still on top. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll get you ready for second half action, Team USA versus Towson.
Why do we do what we do?
Well, we believe that participation in lacrosse positively influences lives.
We believe lacrosse should be open to all kids that want to play.
We believe in a future that offers everyone the opportunity to participate.
U.S. Lacrosse is a nonprofit organization that provides resources to fuel the sport's growth and development.
Support our efforts at uslacrosse.org.
U.S. Lacrosse Fall Classic brought to you by MedStar, the official sports medicine provider and partner of Team USA. For more information, visit medstarsportsmedicine.org. Getting ready to start the second half here. It is 12-0 Team USA up on Towson. And for Team USA, it's been the Will Manny show.
Yeah, certainly a very dynamic player on the U.S. attack. Doing it off ball there. Also be able to initiate with the ball in his stick. Manny, the pride of UMass. was a big newsmaker over the summer with his trade from the Boston Cannons to the New York Lizards, providing a similar injection of offense to that group. Here he's just finishing that pretty no-look feed across the crease from Malloy, and that just one touch. The ball gets out of his stick so quick. You say that about a lot of these U.S. players, their quick release.
Twarton nominee in 2013, a finalist in 2012, first-team All-American, CAA Player of the Year, first-team member for the CAA as well. Graduate, as you said, of UMass back in 2013. UMass has missed him since, but then again, I would miss anybody like Will Manny if he was on my team as well. Towson's going to switch up goalies, no surprise. Josh Miller now in cage, the Norwalk, Connecticut native. And now Team USA will throw Drew Adams in there as well, the Springfield, Pennsylvania native, and Penn State graduate playing for the New York Lizards, three-time ECAC Goalie of the Year in cage now for Team USA.
It'll be interesting to see how Miller responds in the cage for Towson in this second half. He can be a little bit of a streakier type. They like Shane Brennan as being more of a consistent player. Miller likes to play the baiting game, moves around a lot in the goal, and Towson needs consistency between the pipes. He's about a 50% save percentage. They like to see that get up, and this is a wide open race for the Tigers starting goalie position.
And remember, Miller started the first 7 games for Towson last year, got one more start after that before they handed it off and made their run. So to see Brennan get action first and now Miller in the second, Miller probably wants to prove himself a little bit here against Team USA as we are underway in the second half, a little over 30 seconds in. And off the post shot for Carl, looking for goal number 4 to match his jersey number, and Team USA will try and put on the ride here as Towson picks up the ball.
Yeah, Team USA continuing with that full field pressure, starting with the attack unit. And that's another way to get recognized as an attackman is in the riding game.
Check out the save yet again. This one looks like it might have drawn a little bit of post. Started with a behind-the-back pass. No, that went straight off post. Nice shot, just couldn't find the inside of the iron. So Towson's got possession on the right-hand side. They're wearing their road blacks with yellow shorts, white helmets, white numbers and trim, moving left to right. And a turnover as Malouf's pass to Kinnear goes between Kinnear's legs and out of bounds, and an easy turnover for Team USA to pick up on for Towson as turnover number 10 of the day.
Yeah, and something that Towson can ill afford. They just haven't gotten any sort of rhythm or continuity on offense today. You can't fault them too much as they are playing the best in the world and a team that's hungry. As we mentioned after last night, a little bit of a lackluster performance from the U.S. Blue outfit, so the white team hungry to come out here and prove something today.
I was going to say I've been holding off on this one, but I might as well just get it out there. We're talking about 2 different games here. I mean, the Maryland-USA game was not like this. Team USA has put their foot down from the moment the whistle blew and have not let off.
Yeah, and I mean, Maryland is on another plane than Towson, really, even though both were in the Final Four last year. Yeah. Maryland had so much that they could restock their coffers with after losing a lot to graduation and still have a ton of studs returning.
Nice pass in front, and Manny was going for goal number 5 and could not hold on to the ball and went into the crease. It'll be Towson possession as you take a look at that Towson bench, which, as we mentioned early on, and we can certainly mention a little bit more often, they are looking to fill roles. They lost 10 seniors. Most of them were starters off of that squad last year, that team that made a tremendous run to the championship weekend. They are looking to fill holes now with guys.
Here's the good news for Towson. The CAA, wide open.
Yeah.
Annually, one of the most entertaining conferences in lacrosse.
Absolutely.
With Hofstra, UMass, Delaware's got a new coach in Ben DeLuca. These guys will get it together. Towson has a track record in that conference now and has established itself as kind of the juggernaut. So,
and this is fall ball. This is the first time they've come together on a field to play a game against somebody who's not themselves.
They've only been practicing in team sets for a week.
Right.
They focus a lot on skill development in the fall. About 3 of the first 4 weeks have spent just in small position groups working on small-sided skills. So you wouldn't expect them to come out and go toe-to-toe necessarily with the U.S. today.
We should point out they did. Whoa, high shot there from Brown. Started that one low, and it nearly didn't catch the catch netting behind it. But we should point out they did have a summer trip but that wasn't the full squad. I mean, there's guys now here that weren't here then, so they're still trying to feel themselves out. They've only had a couple, as you pointed out, they went a week of just small set, of just unit practices. They really didn't start coming together as a unit till about early this week to about midweek as a full group.
Exactly. So they really haven't had time to put their systems in. They're kind of just rolling the ball out and playing today.
As Jones takes a shot and misses. Another thing to point out that I found interesting about Team USA, we were talking to Coach Danowski this week. He said we only have 7 weekends to work as unit, and this is weekend, I think, number 5 of those 7. They've got only 2 more before they go to the World Championships. That's hard to deal with, too. Yes, these guys play a lot of cross, especially in the MLL, but now we're going into that off season a little bit, not as much play, and they only get a couple weekends left to get this team together.
Yeah, they've got the spring premiere coming up as Miles Jones.
Miles Jones finally finds the back of the net.
Miles Jones does what Miles Jones does on that particular possession. But, yeah, I mean, coming up, the Team USA spring premiere down in Florida. They'll have a blue-white game as part of that event. And when they get down to 23, that's when it'll become a little bit easier to develop that chemistry.
Jones just muscling his way in, uses the bounce shot to go over the shoulder of Josh Miller. Again, Miller with 8 games and 8 starts last year, 462 minutes in cage for the 5'10", now senior from Norwalk, Connecticut. And now it is 13-0 as the first goal for Team USA in this half. We should point out, again, got out to an 8-0 start in the first quarter, scored 4 more in the second quarter, tacking another one on here. So things have slowed down a little bit. But Coach Danowski, I feel like I got to remind people, Coach Danowski wants that slowdown. He wants his team to get used to that tempo against them and even be able to play it themselves if they need to, because they're going to see that in the international games, and especially at the World Championships next year.
If this comes down to U.S.-Canada as expected, the ideal game script for the U.S. is get out to an early lead and possess yourself. Inject the tempo early, and now force Canada to start playing chase with you, and get expose what their weakness is, which might be some of those conditioning elements. Obviously, the U.S. has much better conditioned athletes and is much better between the restraining lines. Don't let Canada get ahead and be able to sit on the ball.
Sure. Towson's got possession, and that is aggressive defense from Ratliff, and now a flag comes of it. Got a little too much into it. Looks like probably a slash, I would guess. Towson maintains possession with the flag down. To the near side, Maloof, one-handed.
There's a thin line
comes out, and now the ball down and whistle it dead.
A thin line between a slap check and a slash, and that was a pretty easy call.
Yeah, he went, I think, 1 extra. He was good on the second, third hit. It was the 4th one, I think, that drew the penalty flag.
Team USA.
Especially when the man's down. We'll check it out again. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. I didn't see the second hand come off, but I guess it was hit the head maybe that got him the call.
Ratliff giving him the business.
I got to feel bad for the guys when they hit the deck like that, and they just know the long stickman's just going to start hauling off trying to get that ball back. So Towson's in the man advantage. They'll swing it around, try to feed in the middle. That was either intended for Kinnear or intended for Maloof. Doesn't matter. It ended up hitting the sideline. Neither guy able to be available. So Team USA will pick it up, and they will scrub the penalty rather easily here.
Kinnear's a player that Towson really likes to be one of those new contributors, someone to step up this year. Had a nice summer playing box lacrosse out in British Columbia, where he's from. He's from Calgary. Played really well in the Minto Cup. So look for he's another one of those transfers. Started his career at Ohio State. Look for him to be a name that we hear more of come springtime.
Talk about that possession game. Team USA trying to practice that now, waiting for Towson to pressure them to move the ball up the field. And I guess a friendly reminder in case you're just tuning in, there is no 30-second cross midfield clock, and there is no 10-second get into the box clock in the international game. So a little bit more of a slowdown, a little bit of a North Carolina 4-corner possession if necessary.
You wonder how much longer the international rules will stay this way, though, before they start to make some changes.
Flag down, I think a shot to the head. Shot finds the back of the net for Matt Cavanaugh. As Cavanaugh will pick up the goal, his first of the day, along with 2 assists. He's tried a lot to get it in. Flag is wiped off for the goal. It was a cross check to the head, but they will wipe it off as a result of the goal. And you'll see there, you saw the hit, actually right to the back of Marasco's head. And then Kavanaugh picks it up from Marasco's feed and goes low on Miller. Miller can't feel bad. Brennan had the same experience in the first half. Those low shots have a little extra on them.
Didn't look like Kavanaugh had much of an angle, but he uses his stick to give himself that angle, extends forward, and gets a lot more of the goal to work with.
Towson's got possession off the face-off. If that is ruled a win, it'll be their third of 16 here today. And again, not a fair stat necessarily. You're going up against some of the best face-off guys in the world. Tries to thread the needle, and we got a whistle. And they're going to call a penalty on Team USA. A cross-check, it appears, on Kavanaugh.
Matt Kavanaugh, slashing 1
So
minute.
slashing calling on Kavanaugh. That must have happened away from ball initially, as in the meantime, Miller tried to thread the needle to his defensive player up midfield, but they get bailed out with a penalty here.
There haven't been too many openings in this U.S. ride today.
Whew. Towson avoiding another turnover there as Monahan, who we haven't talked as much about as I thought we would, with an opportunity. Nice shot in front and a tremendous save by Adams. A shot coming from Landry. Landry point blank. And Adams denied him. And once again, Team USA has possession. I'm Dave McHugh alongside Matt DeSilva from U.S. Lacrosse. Down on the sideline for us, Bob Trossett. Here's that shot again, Matt.
Yeah, Adams not yielding his position until the last second, able to stick his left leg out there and get a piece of it.
You got the stick down there, too.
And that's really not an easy save to make, especially when you've been sitting for the entire first half.
Yeah.
That's the first real opportunity he's seen here in the second half. These U.S. goalies haven't been tested much today, but when they have been, they've been able and ready.
Kavanaugh out of the sin bin, back into the offensive set. You may have seen him have possession there for a brief moment. Now on the far side, that is Buzek with it. He'll go behind the cage to Manny. Manny had Kavanaugh cutting and doesn't feed him. Kavanaugh cuts again. Manny's looking for something else.
And he's got his defender hung up.
Manny feeds off the post. They're going to say the Team USA thinks it's a goal, and the official agrees. It was the inside of the post netting, and it was a tremendous feed from Manny to Buzek for the goal. The second squeaker to get in for Team USA. You might remember the first half one where about a minute afterward they finally blew it dead and talked about it. Nice feed there.
Yeah, he had a little bit, playing a little bit of the cat and mouse with his defender hung up there, finds Buzek and finishes it just on the inside of the pipe, and the official's got the great view there. He sees that little bit of net move, and he knows that was inside across the goal line.
Going to say, I was looking for the net to move, and I didn't see it. He obviously had a much better angle than we did. Another Team USA win, quickly down, shot and a score. Ryan Brown tickles the net. The feed coming from Baptiste, who is now starting to put on display. As Baptiste, I believe, picks up his first assist of the game. And Brown picks up his second goal of the game on 5 shots.
We saw more of this out of Baptiste last spring with Denver. He was more apt to ignite transition out of the faceoff rather than just try to get off the field. There with a nice feed to Brown, who will obviously stick that 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
He's a great threat to have at the point there on the fast break.
I'd say he hit a spot that was maybe 8 inches wide between the post and Miller's right leg. As we get another battle here, this time it is Baptiste. Not sure who Towson's got facing off.
It's Gorenlian and Woodall on that face-off.
Oh, there you're right. It is Woodall. Gorenlian not wearing a uniform number. It's been throwing me off all day, but called for the infraction. And long stick in the offense there by Constable. He's staying in. Look, he wants a shot at this point. He's still in there as they're behind the cage, and a hard check from Towson. The ball is loose. Triple team coming over on the loose ground ball. And Towson will pick it up and will try and transition here against Team USA. Wilkerson with it. Go ahead.
It's worth noting with this Towson defense, we've seen Sid Ewell and Gray Bott and Chad Patterson out with an injury today, so they are a little bit shorthanded on the defensive side.
That's the other thing. Team USA, while they have 49 members, They also a little banged up. Some guys have taken some lumps in their professional careers. Shot and a score. That's how you do it. Zach Goodrich showing off the skills. He may not score a lot because he's more defensive-minded, but he certainly showed a way to find the back of the net on that one. And you almost wonder if Towson's going to maybe try and use him two ways this year if he can put up that many goals.
If there's anyone to get Towson off the schneid, it's going to be Zach Goodrich, one of our players to watch, and rightfully so, showing he's not just a one-dimensional defensive midfielder. Takes the opportunity from X and finishes it.
Beautiful goal, gets Towson their first of the game. They now trail 16-1, and Goodrich doing the heavy lifting on that one. As Team USA wins another face-off, and they will move up. Long stickman trying to get into this one. Ratliff with it. He'll feed Brown, cross the crease to Kavanaugh, to the near side, shot and score from Malloy. Now that is ball movement.
Dylan Malloy.
Can you give 4 assists out on that one? Because they all deserved something of that.
Team USA goal scored by
A more perfect fast break you will not see than this possession from the U.S. Ratliff ignites it off the face-off. Brown moves it down low to Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh over to Malloy. Tic-tac-toe, and in it goes.
3 passes just in the offensive end. Add 2 more off the face-off as Baptiste is making Swiss cheese of his opponent on the face-off. But, total of 5 passes on that one, and you could hear Ratliff calling, one more, to get it to his cross so then he could move it up into the offensive end, and then bang, 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 and it's a goal.
Yeah, we often talk about communication on defense, but you see the best offenses, they'll communicate as well as the ball is zipping around. They're able to kind of slow the play down and see what that next pass is going to be. Ratliff in that scenario playing a little bit of the role of the quarterback, and the stick work just pristine.
17-1, Team USA. The white squad up on Towson. Again, coming off of yesterday's game where the blue squad for Team USA took on the national champs, Maryland, and it was a 10-9 thriller. A little bit different here today. The weather's been different. The game is different. As we're here in the U.S. Lacrosse Fall Classic from central northern Baltimore County, north of Baltimore City, and, of course, north of the Towson area, if you're familiar. I'm Dave McHugh alongside Matt DeSilva from U.S. Lacrosse. Bob Trossett down on the field for us. Off the post. Kavanaugh picks it up and hits it in the back of the net. I think I got to give more credit to Kavanaugh to keep an eye on that one, as that one was coming off the ricochet pretty fast and able to stick with it, and then finds a wide open net as Miller had to shift way to his right to stop the initial save and then was out of position.
We've seen this a couple of times. You see Kavanaugh at the side of your screen there. First he was calling for the pass, so he had his stick ready. Just so happens the rebound caroms right to him. And again, the quick finish, bouncing it off the turf.
Oh, you got to love that. That's how you feel like you're part of the game without being in the game. Feet in the grass without actually being on the grass. Those are outstanding. I love that.
Yeah, talk about turf shoes.
Well played. I'm going to have to get a pair of those. That's great. Grass slides, is that what I saw? That's great. You know what? Somebody's going to think of something, and that's the perfect example of that. As a turnover here, an unwise pass upfield for Towson as Team USA takes over. 2.5 minutes left here in the third quarter. We got another one coming. If you're watching the clock and wondering, it is a running clock in international lacrosse. And you wonder if you talk about some of the changes as to get another opportunity. Kavanaugh will pick up the errant pass, feet in front. Oh, a little shaky dake. And Jones finds the back of the net once again. As Jones picks up
Miles Jones.
goal number 2, I believe. And Team USA pouring it on now here.
What you're seeing here on these last few possessions, you're seeing Matt Kavanaugh's ice hockey abilities. He was a great hockey player in high school. And some of these rebounds, being able to predict where these loose balls will wind up. He's so great in those unsettled situations, this time finding Miles Jones for the goal.
I always tell people not familiar with the game of lacrosse how many other sports are involved. As a former soccer player myself, I see so much of the soccer game in this. As a played basketball, you see a lot of the basketball games, especially in the offensive sets. You see the game of hockey to some degree, the shifts, obviously. But as you point out, some of the angles you want to play are the passing lanes and stuff like that. There's so much that if you learned other sports besides lacrosse, it's invaluable when you step on the pitch.
And that's why you'll see a predominance of these U.S. players come from multi-sport backgrounds and use those influences to make them great lacrosse players.
Well, you've seen the arguments of Dom Starja and others saying, don't be one-sport athletes. We want to see multi-sport athletes. Mainly, there's physical reasons for that, about injuries and stuff, but also the ability to think, forgive the pun, outside the box.
No question. No question. And I think, with the changes in the recruiting legislation, hopefully we'll see more athletes that are apt to play in their other sports rather than travel to all these events and try to get exposure at an early age.
Timeout called by Towson. Each team has 2 per half, and with 43 seconds left, Towson with possession would like to get a second goal here. They'll call timeout, and we'll set things up as you look at Team USA, and appropriately looking at Coach John Danowski, assistant coach for this, or head coach for this Team USA team. His assistants, Joe Amplo, Tony Resch, and Seth Tierney, the son of the famous Bill Tierney. And Danowski is, almost quietly became the winningest coach in the country in college, passing the aforementioned Bill Tierney and aforementioned Dom Starja. 383 wins. Of course, all those guys active. This is going to be a battle for a little while longer, but he has done amazing things at Duke to bring them back from the brink.
Yeah, you're just talking about 2 legends of the sport and 3 legends of the sport with Starja, Tierney, both in the Hall of Fame, and Danowski certainly to join them there. Sooner, if not later.
I was going to say sooner, if not later, as you see him overlooking his staff talking to Team USA. And great guy to talk to earlier today as well, or earlier this week. We also got a chance to talk to him earlier today. Very low key.
He kind of has the perfect temperament for this U.S. team. Not only knowing a lot of the plays personally, but he's a master motivator, and these guys are looking forward to. They want to be coached again. There's not as much coaching that happens in the pro ranks. That he's trying to build a culture here and doing it well.
The U.S. men's national team plays using best-in-class products thanks to Sisu Guard for supplying Team USA's mouth guards for today's Fall Classic. To shop Sisu products, visit SisuGuard.com. Sisu Guard, official mouth guard of Team USA. As Towson will gain possession here, hold on to it. They got 20 seconds left. Shot in the goal! That's the way you earn another goal. Timmy Monahan, we've talked a bit about him today. He earned that one the hard way as the clock continues to tick off, giving Towson their second goal.
Yeah, a little bit like Busick's goal we saw in the first half for the USA. Monahan, tremendous individual effort to maintain possession with one hand, get that second hand back on the stick, and he can finish righty or lefty, and certainly shows you there why Towson's excited to have him in the fold.
Absolutely, and that will draw the third quarter to close. Timeout well executed by Towson to get them their second goal. But it is Team USA 19, Towson 2. We'll take a break here at the third quarter from the headquarters of U.S. Lacrosse and Tierney Field. We'll be back from Sparks, Maryland with more after this.
Why do we do what we do?
Well, we believe that participation in lacrosse positively influences lives.
We believe lacrosse should be open to all kids that want to play.
We believe in a future that offers everyone the opportunity to participate.
U.S. Lacrosse is a nonprofit organization that provides resources to fuel the sport's growth and development.
Support our efforts at uslacrosse.org.
U.S. Lacrosse Fall Classic brought to you by The Pearl by Guardian. Today's Fall Classic being played with The Pearl by Guardian. To shop The Pearl, visit GuardianPearl.com. The Pearl by Guardian, official ball of Team USA. Take a look at some of the highlights from the third quarter, and Towson got on board here too, but it was more Team USA and certainly some really good passing.
Yeah, the U.S. picking up where it left off in the first half, especially with the face-off dominance, getting tons of opportunities. That's just Miles Jones, again, being Miles Jones, bullying his defender and getting to a space.
And Kavanaugh with a couple great moments in this quarter. And even the goalie play. Got new goalies in there. That didn't stop the great play this time from Drew Adam. And then off the post. Team USA peppered the goal quite a bit, and then they started finding the back of the net. Great shot there from Brown.
Yeah, you saw that one, that apparent pipe from Busick earlier that actually get into the goal. But Towson on the board with Zach Goodrich, who else? But then Team USA answers right back.
Yeah, right off the ensuing faceoff. Quick passes, Kavanaugh with the assist, and then another shot there. Kavanaugh reads it off the post and finishes it himself.
Such a good rebounder Kavanaugh is, and this time doing it as a feeder, finding Miles Jones for Jones' second.
And then Towson would get one more off the great shot here, and the extra work from Monahan, as it is turn into kind of a nice day here, as once again you take a look at the Creators Game statue honoring the sports' heritage and roots with the indigenous people of the Americas, as you talk about the 7 nations and their contributions to this game. And we are back underway here in the fourth quarter. I'm Dave McHugh, Matt DeSilva from U.S. Lacrosse alongside. We got Bob Trossett down on the field as well.
That statue for the longest time on University Parkway in Baltimore, they actually brought down the original sculptor to cut it off at certain points so they could transport it and to re-weld it here.
Wow.
At the new headquarters, and it's a beautiful spot for it.
Yeah, we should point out the headquarters originally on the campus of Johns Hopkins, alongside their field, smaller space, tighter parking, a little harder to get into. This is a comparatively vastly different facility up here in, as I've been calling it, North Central Baltimore County, and into the crease. They're going to call them in the crease. Tried to get creative was Malloy there and couldn't get rid of the ball. 19-2 Team USA up. A very different game than yesterday against Maryland.
And if you're Towson right now, what are you taking out of this? Ever since the 6:21 mark of the third quarter, it's a 3-2 game.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And I mean they've kind of settled in a little bit. We saw Monahan get untracked. That's a good sign for them offensively. They're still trying to find out what their identity is on that side of the field, and now they're actually getting opportunities to do so, where it was very one-sided earlier on.
And we should point out the scoreboard every quarter has been resetting to 0-0. They're playing quarters essentially in the mentality of things here, and not understanding. Towson may not even realize the score. The only places that are your broadcast and our stats. And so Towson may not, they may be hanging on that 3-2 right now. And again, it's about filling holes. It's about understanding what they've got, and they're playing well. They're just playing against some of the best guys in the country. As a infraction at midfield, I think they're calling Team USA offsides, as I think Ryan Brown inadvertently stepped over the line.
We talk about some of the players, and what we referenced earlier with Coach Nadal and his staff is that continuity of the coaching staff allows them to absorb these graduation hits and still find a way. And I anticipate that Towson will find a way this spring.
And again, the familiarity, we talked about it earlier, 3 guys from Ken Island High School. Ken Island on the eastern side of the bay as you cross the Bay Bridge, if you're familiar with that here in Maryland. And, of course, 3 guys from Canada. And then the coaching staff has stuck together. There's a lot of continuity with Towson, as much as there has been turnover in the offseason. Team USA gains possession, running clock with 17 left to go in this game. Hope you're enjoying this one.
I'm talking to Coach Nadalin earlier this week. There have been opportunities that have come up the last couple of years, Princeton, Michigan, and his name's been rumored among those. And he says there aren't many institutions like Towson that give lacrosse the red carpet treatment as they do there. And so he really likes the resources he has to work with. The institution itself, its profile is increasing every year. And coming off a Final Four run, I imagine that did a nice little boost for his recruiting as well.
Well, you got to remember, this is Nadalin played for Hopkins. He was an 01 graduate of darn good program, private school. He's making it succeed at more of a state public school, and that's something to be said. And if he's being successful, Towson's going to want him. And there was a big hullabaloo when he got the job because of finally the decision to move on from the rich history Towson had in the coaching staff to move on, and he has shown he can elevate the program.
Yeah, it's in good hands. From Carl Runk to Tony Seaman and now to Sean Nadalin, they really enjoyed some quality coaching.
Team USA working against a very compact Towson squad. They're not shooting as deep. I've noticed that as much so far in this second half. I think they're trying to work it inside and see what they can do. Great opportunity here, and that just gets past Miller. Miller thought he got his foot over, but not going to happen as Will Manny picks up goal number 5 on the day, and you're going to see this one sneak just past the foot.
Nice job by Marasco to get that pass off.
Double bounce off the foot. Went off the left, off the right, and in the back of the net.
And Manny's been on fire today, no question about it.
20-2, Team USA up on this one. And again, 2 weekends left in their entire schedule before the FIL World Championships next year. And I will say this, not knowing any of the inside stuff at all, I think Coach Danowski and his staff's going to have a very hard time whittling this down to 23 guys.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. You're not trying to pick an all-star team.
Right. He emphasized that to us.
Yeah.
This isn't about the names. This isn't about getting the biggest, brightest stars necessarily. It's about, as you pointed out in the first half, the guys who can be versatile, who might play one position but can slide into a different position at a moment's notice on the field or at the call of the coaches when necessary.
Yeah, we go back to 2010, the last time the U.S. won the World Championship, and someone like Ned Crotty, who was a reigning Tewaaraton winner at the time, did not see any action in that championship game until the fourth quarter and scores a huge goal on an invert from behind because he can play midfield or attack. He and Mike Lavelle were big components of that team in 2010, and they're still trying to identify who those types of players will be for us next summer.
And Coach Danowski also wanted to point out, this is about the players. Shot and a save. As Brown was looking for another one, Miller read the bounce very well and got his stick up. Team USA with another opportunity. Shot from the near wing. And Janachuk cannot find the back of the net. But back to the point about Danowski, he's like, listen, we want this to be about the players. We want them to feel like this is their team. So there's a lot going on in these decisions. And we'll check it out again. The initial shot from deep, well read, and then came loose off the rebound.
That's a tough save to make.
Yeah. That's changing
Miller.
3 or 4 different directions all at the same time.
Yeah, and that's coming off of Ryan Brown's stick, so
it's got some pace.
It definitely had some zing on it, and good job to stay with it.
Towson on the other side of it, trying to back down the defense, getting physical inside. That was Landry doing the heavy lifting. Ball goes out of bounds, and it will be Team USA possession. As it wasn't a shot, it was a pass. If you're not familiar with the game of lacrosse, if you shoot it on goal and it goes over the line, it's whoever's closest gets ball. If it's a pass, it's a straight turnover.
To go back to your point about, the players taking ownership of this U.S. national team program, this is not this is the U.S. team, all 48 players, and that's the culture Danowski wants to create for the team, who is the final 23 that actually travels with the team to Israel, and also trying to create a little bit of a pipeline. You see a lot of younger players for the U.S. out here today, and that'll only continue. We had Melissa Coyne on, the director of the U.S. Lacrosse National Team Development Program, trying to adopt a little bit of the ODP model that you see in like soccer and other sports, where focusing on high performance, focusing on creating that pipeline, and also creating great experiences for players across the country.
Danowski talked about how in the past guys who didn't make the team still wanted to contribute, the Paul Canabenes and others who may have been disappointed that they weren't selected, but they went and found ways to still contribute and help this squad, or the coaching staffs turned around and said, you know what, he can help coach this, or he can help do this. And it's about keeping the guys involved.
One of his messages after the tryouts was, I applied for this job twice and didn't get it.
Yeah.
And he was very frank about that. So, keep coming back. Good things will happen.
Manny tries to feed. Nice pick in the middle of the defense by Towson. That's good stick work from O'Dare. Then he gets his pocket picked, and it's picked up by Jones. And Team USA comes back down the middle. Nice feed, and it's deja vu for Will Manny. Finishes it off the feed, this time coming from Malloy on the nice stick work in front of the goal. And Will Manny's got 6 of the 21 here today.
A sock trick for Will Manny, and a lot of them have come in that variety, the quick sticks around the goal. He's the beneficiary of some terrific ball movement by the U.S. offense today. Malloy has been a great pivot point for a lot of those breaks. Unsettled situation off the Towson turnover, and Team USA capitalizes.
Malloy, the Brown graduate, of 2017 to Manny, the UMass graduate of 2013. And they're showing that they can play together. This team is showing they can play together very well, and that's tough to do, again, off of only a handful of weekends. They don't necessarily play professionally together. There's a few teammates on these squads, but there's not a lot.
Yeah, you can tell certain guys have chemistry because they play together in Major League Lacrosse. Last night, a couple of times, we saw like the Tom Schreiber, Marcus Holman connection, and those guys are teammates with the Machine, the reigning MLL champions now. And but you're right. For the most part, this is not a combination of players that is accustomed to playing together, no less playing in a system that is mostly foreign to them at this point in their careers.
Team USA going to a slow-down approach. Towson not really crossing midfield here, less than 10 to play in the game. Long pass, and Connor Kelly was waiting for it. And thank you, Shane Malloy, who comes the other direction. A freshman defenseman from Guilford, Connecticut. Took advantage of the Connor Kelly mistake and picks it off for Towson.
Yeah, nice job reading the U.S. clear there by Malloy to jump it.
I always told, go towards your pass, and Connor Kelly was waiting for it, and it was able to be picked off. So Towson with possession, trail 21-2 in this game. On the scoreboard here at the facility, it's only 2-0. So, again, it's kind of a mental thing. You may not be fully aware of what's going on. And Towson certainly playing well. Again, they're going up against a pretty tough opponent here. As Towson looks to stay on the offensive here. Looks like they're going to try with a shot. There it is. Great save off the shot from Mazza. And as Team USA picks up the ball, gives us a chance to go back down to the field and check in with our third broadcast partner. It's Bob Trossett with more.
Hey, guys, if we could take a quick step away from the field, if I may, for just a second here. I just want to acknowledge Stephen Stillwell for Towson. First reported by ABC2 News. Stephen has been working with Komen, Maryland to fundraise for breast cancer research. Of course, losing his mother as a child, it's been a big part of his life. He's the leading fundraiser on the team and has really inspired the entire team to contribute. Just a true testament to the types of guys that Coach Nadalin has in the locker room. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Bob. As we get back into it, Team USA looking for more. Connor Kelly with it in his cross on the far side. And they'll swing it to the far end and see what they can set up here. Shot from the near side, well read by Miller as Chenichuk tried to find some daylight. Another save, this one from the far side from Caro. Caro uses the broom technique to feed his teammate. Malloy, another save. Well, Miller's coming up with a couple big ones here to put on a show against Team USA.
But Towson has got to come up with one of these rebounds. They are doing their goalies no favors by making them see these shots, these second and third opportunities.
Nothing worse for a goalie. Save, shot, save, shot, save. Come on, guys, one of these please pick up.
On the flip side, your goalie has to make a more of an effort to actually corral that ball himself. But Miller doing all he can in there right now.
You hear a lot of communication from the Towson defense, especially the goalie, and the pass is going to stay in. Might be able to credit a little bit of the wetness of the field there as Manny trying to find Caro. Back to Manny on the near side. 6 goals, maybe 7? No, he feeds behind the cage. Up top to Kavanaugh and airmailed. Goes over the line, and they'll fight for it defensively. And good job by Team USA's Chenichuk allows his teammate Manley to get over midfield to get rid of the pressure and not be offsides.
Yeah, heads up job. Heads up play by Chenichuk there to make sure Team USA doesn't jump off sides, and Manley doing some good work at the midline.
Connor Kelly, who had a couple goals yesterday for Maryland against Team USA, tries to find one there and has his stick checked just as he's shooting and goes high. Nice feed in front. Nice idea from Malloy trying to hit Manny on the cut. Just missed it. Manny picks it up, goes behind the back to hit Kavanaugh on the pass. And back to Connor Kelly. Do you read too much into it that Connor Kelly has only 1 assist in this one on 4 shots? Is that reading too much into it after what he did yesterday?
It's been a pretty, attack-dominant performance for the U.S. with the exception of maybe for Caro, so that's not surprising. I'll tell you what I am seeing is a nice little chemistry developing between Malloy and Manny on opposite wings down there. They seem to really be connecting today.
Ball out of bounds, so it gives Towson a chance to call timeout. 5:53 left to go in this game. And Towson will talk things over. That's their last timeout of the half. And we'll get a chance to see. We talked a lot about the USA-Canada games and the rivalry in the past 20 years. That kind of tells the story just a little bit, does it not?
Yeah, back and forth, back and forth. There was a time when it was just unthinkable for the U.S. to lose an international competition. That loss came in 2006 in that championship game, and that was a wake-up call. But, I mean, you see the Canadian talent infiltrating the NCAA ranks on a year-by-year basis.
Mhm.
You know, they might not have the same participation numbers north of the border, but when you bring it down to that top 23, they're neck and neck.
And you look at the 20 years, 10 games, 5 of them in World Championship games. But you talk about the influence Canada has, the Hill Academy, for example, and the influence that has gotten into the game. You talk about it from the collegiate level, even to the high school prep level, has seen some of the Canadian influences. And, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes that can make a Team USA even better. As we take a look at the October schedule for Towson. This, again, is their fall season as they get used to it. They played Team Israel, I should say. Their Susan G. Komen run they got coming up, some alumni stuff. Robert Morris will be that game we talked about where they may experiment with the shot clock. The NCAA has asked if teams in the fall would mind looking into that. I haven't heard if they're going to actually use it. And then they're going to, what has almost become routine for them, make sure they pick up their CAA championship rings from last season. Is it 3 in a row now, I believe?
Yeah, they've shown that they can withstand the test of time.
Yeah.
Towson has in one of the most bitterly disputed conferences. They're always there
like how
in
you put
the end.
that.
Yeah. It's a grind. A lot of blue collar type schools and programs. Really fun to watch.
And starting to show, as Towson did last year, getting to the championship weekend, that it may not be the ACC, it may not be the Big Ten or the big conferences everyone talks about. It's hard fought and it can produce some really good teams.
Yeah, Towson twice now has been able to win 3 straight CAA titles, and that's
not
really quite
slouch.
remarkable.
That's as outstanding as Towson. We'll pick up the ball here, trailing 21-2. Really, the score not a matter to these two teams. We're just trying to execute and find ways to perform what their coaches want at this point with 5 minutes left to go in the game. But we do hope you've enjoyed it. At least the weather we had this morning has subsided. It's a little bit breezy, but it's not raining. When we arrived here today, it was raining. So at least it's been enjoyable. We've had a great crowd on hand, even on the far side of the field where they brought their camping chairs and set up and relaxed and enjoyed this one.
Yeah, definitely a nice open-air feel to this facility here in Baltimore County, and it's been a great weekend of lacrosse.
Shot just misses the far post. Andrew Beecham, the freshman from Carlsbad, California, talking about the spread of the game. Missed that shot. As Towson will continue to put on some pressure here with 4 minutes left. Really what Team USA needs. Face some pressure, see how this defense will perform. Starting from behind the cage now. And now they'll swing it around. And Team USA again showing that willingness to extend the defense. And a shot again. I think that was Beecham again. Nope, that was Matt Silvero, redshirt sophomore from Easton, Maryland, with the shot from the far side. And USA will pick it up and will walk downfield with 3.5 to go.
And that's how you take advantage of a team that is trying to possess a little bit. That's how you force them into a bad shot, is again by playing that by extending out on defense, making them uncomfortable. You saw Abbott there with the short stick. You look at it and you think maybe he got beat, but what he really did was force his guy down the alleys. And that's what they want. They want to see players going down the alleys, not allowing them to turn back, and you're going to do that by pressuring.
So Team USA with possession, 3 minutes left, in control of this game, 21-2, looking to finish this one off and give Coach Danowski and the rest of his staff much more to talk about with this squad. Shot and whistles it wide, coming from Caro. For Caro looking for goal number 4. SweatX is the official laundry detergent and odor spray of Team USA. For more information and to shop SweatX products, visit sweatxsport.com. TownSonLacrosse.com. Proud presenter here of the U.S. Lacrosse Classic. And yesterday, again, a 10-9 game between Maryland and the Blue Squad for Team USA. A little bit different here today as the White Squad up on Towson 21-2. Two Final Four participants. Of course, Maryland national champion last year. Thought about it, did Kavanaugh, then realized he was behind the cage. No angle. So he bails out of the idea.
And also realize that the U.S. is trying to possess here.
Right.
It's denying that basic instinct that they have to try to go to goal and score and find a way to possess.
Well, couldn't hold off any longer. Goal number 7 for Will Manny. Another slice into the middle and a quick stick shot. He's got that perfected. He has probably scored, I would argue, 3/4 of his goals off the quick stick. The official assist coming for Caro. So Caro adds an assist to his 3-goal tally.
Manny going 5-hole on that finish.
Yeah.
And Caro as a feeder. I mean, he's been standing out today
What's that
as
about
well.
versatility?
They're certainly sharing the ball.
And 2 minutes left. Team USA wins again. Baptiste, anytime I've seen Baptiste on the face-off, he's pretty much come up with a win. There may be 1 or 2 occasions he hasn't, but he has shown why he's that good, and again, shows why Team USA has got plenty of depth at that position.
That's a fairly common occurrence, a common sight to see out of Baptiste.
Long pass down to Jones, who then waited for it and almost allowed Towson to get the steal. 90 seconds left to go in this game, as Team USA looks to basically hold on and keep away from Towson. Towson probably content with a minute 15 left to go in this one. Of course, we haven't seen the stall warning, and we might see it for the first time. I see one of the officials already pointing to his watch. Again, there is only the stall warning as that shot whistles high from, Will Manny's not content. He was looking for goal number 8. His time from a little further out. But don't be surprised if the officials might throw the stall here. That's the only sense of any shot clock or clock on scenario, whether it be clears or whatever, in the international game. And you pointed this out earlier, that may come along at some point. My question is, we have a running clock. Does that come along, and do they now start stopping the clock if they start instituting those things, or do you think they keep the running clock?
No, the clock runs. It's just a matter you got to keep it in the box. That's the stall.
I'm just wondering if they change the rules. Do you think they'll change that rule?
Oh, right. It's tough to tell.
Yeah.
It's tough to tell. The international game is such a unique entity, and it takes complete buy-in. So
Towson can't hold on to possession on the far side of the field. Trying to do so, and Phil Wise unable to hold on to the pass that was at his feet. And with 13 seconds left, Team USA is going to hold on to it in the defensive end and let the clock run out on what is a dominating performance by the White Squad. 22-2 to Towson as this one comes to a close. Granted, it was 8-0 to start and 12-0 at half. And Towson got 2 goals in the third quarter. But if you're Coach Danowski, I hinted at it earlier, you got probably more questions coming out of this. Not in a bad way, but because this squad, this White Squad, performed so well today versus what could be argued maybe some struggles in the Blue Squad last night.
Yeah, they're certainly not done evaluating at this point.
This didn't make it easier.
Not necessarily. I mean, there's a core group of players that's been together for a while that they have a track record that you can trust. However, certainly some players standing up and showing what they can provide today for Team USA.
When you got guys like Kavanaugh and Constable who have been on the U19 squad, Kavanaugh, who's won the most outstanding player with a gold medal on that U19 squad, that adds to the mix as well. They're on this White Squad. So, but again, great crowd on hand. Got to see a pretty good game despite the score. It was actually full of very interesting things, and Towson got to answer a lot of questions themselves going into the fall.
They did, specifically in goal. I think they got really good performances from both. From Brennan and Miller. I mean, they might not have answered who their starting goalie is, but both of them stood up well to a lot of pressure. So give Towson credit. They did not give up. They started getting a little bit of offensive rhythm there in the second half, and just too much firepower for Team USA.
Let's check in down the field. Bob Trossett has Coach Danowski with him.
Thanks, Dave. Here with Coach Danowski. Coach, pretty solid effort from the guys. With so few weekends left, how much do you value a day like today?
It's so important each and every practice, each and every sequence. When the guys are out there, we can't play to the scoreboard. You just got to keep playing. You got to play right all the time. And these guys have been so compliant. They've worked so hard. Really proud of both groups, the blue team last night and the white team today.
When the off-season begins, can you tell the viewers, kind of share a little bit of a glimpse of what it's like during the off-season and how you kind of keep that chemistry alive?
It's not easy because we meet so infrequently. So, the last time we were together, it was Labor Day. So that's 6 weeks ago. You guys got a lot going on. They have professional lives. They've got personal lives. They've got downtime. They need to heal a little bit from the summertime from playing. So it's not easy, these guys coming out, but they love the game, and they're really starting to bond. They're really starting to I think, love one another, and that's really the key.
Well, Coach, we really enjoyed being here, and best of luck in Israel next summer.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right, that's Coach Stanowski. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate the time from Coach Stanowski as well. Let's take a look at the highlights from this one, especially in the second half. And Towson finally found their legs a little bit, found some of the shooting range on this Team USA defense. But Team USA also found a few other guys who can contribute on the offensive end.
Yeah, good for Towson to see Timmy Monahan get on track. But, again, U.S. just kept feeding possessions. This was that beautiful fast break ignited by Ratliff. And it was Malloy on the finishing end of it off the cross-crease feed from Kavanaugh. Some great chemistry being shown by the U.S.
Yeah, great job there from Goodrich as well. And then there's Baptiste starting another one off the face-off, quickly feeding Brown. And really, there was 8, 10, 12 guys who were finding ways to find the back of the net.
Yeah, we saw nice performances from Malloy, from Brown, from Kavanaugh, obviously from Will Manny. And the U.S. defense, give them credit, they were pressuring all game on every Towson possession, making the Tigers uncomfortable.
12 guys took shots. 8 of them found the back of the net for Team USA. And there's Jones showing, what you said, what Jones can do. Behind the back pass there, shot just missed from going in. And then Team USA poured it on in the fourth quarter. And we said Will Manny's name quite often. It might be hard to keep him off the roster when he poured in 7 goals and could have had a few more. Another nice save there. And another great feed. And there's that combination we were talking about. The Malloy to Manny feed. Kind of hooked up a couple times today. And great goalie play even from Team USA as well. The score may not be indicative, but you said it. Towson goalies also performed pretty high today.
Yeah, Josh Miller did a nice job in the second half. But just look at the disparity in the stats, and you can see what Towson was up against today.
Ground balls, 40-13 for USA. Towson only won 3 face-offs the entire game, 1 in the second half. Will Manny leading the way again with 7 goals. He could have 8 or 9. We should point out, by the way, Towson not done today. They're going to go right back out on this field against Team Israel for another exhibition game, obviously with a few different contexts there, but Towson a little bit of a workload today. But if you're Team USA here, we kind of joked about it, there are some tough decisions ahead, but you got to love what you saw out of this white squad today.
Yeah, and the last thing I look at here is that face-off dominance by Team USA. Alex Woodall is a really good face-off man, and Team USA just obliterated it.
Yeah.
Obliterated him in the face-off X, and so that's a good sign as well. More possessions, more opportunities for this offense to really shine.
So you got to love what you saw on the field here at the headquarters of U.S. Lacrosse. What's next quickly for Team USA before we sign off? What do we expect from this squad as we get closer to the championships?
Well, they'll be at the U.S. Lacrosse Convention in January, putting on some demonstrations. You see the coaches there as well. But also in January, the Team USA Spring Premiere down in Florida at IMG Academy. Blue versus white, so that'll be an intra-squad game. There'll be a women's game as well. The U.S. women's national team playing England in that event.
And won 2 golds this past summer at the World Cup and the World Games. They'll be on display along with the Team USA getting ready for their World Cup in the FIL coming up. And, of course, those games in Israel coming up this year. So that's going to wrap it up for us. Towson, as you see, getting ready for their next game here at Tierney Field on the campus of the U.S. Lacrosse headquarters. For our producer, BJ, our director, Jim, I am Dave McHugh, alongside Matt DeSilva and Bob Trost. We appreciate you joining us here today for Towson versus U.S. Team White for lacrosse. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. It was a fun one for us. Despite a high score, a lot of fun lacrosse to watch. Congratulations to both programs. See how they move forward into 2018. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This has been a presentation of U.S. Lacrosse from their headquarters in Sparks, Maryland. Thanks so much for tuning in. Team USA over Towson. We'll see you back here 20-2 in the future.